I'm going to move forward. What should I do? What should I imbibe? So out there, I have been working with different organizations for initial till 2012. I was director and head of Fortis Hospitals in Punjab. Thereon, I moved as a chairman orthopedics for Max Hospitals, Mohali, Bathinda, and Dehradun. And 2018, I took over as chairman and executive director for IV Healthcare. And from March, I'm heading both organizations, IV Healthcare for Punjab as well as Paras Hospitals, Panchkula. So with this experience of 40,000 joint replacements going through, I'm going to enlighten you on my journey, my collaboration happening through on this arena of joint replacements. As Elite Orthopedics Chairman, we run our services in these two setups, IV Hospitals for Punjab and Paras Hospitals in Haryana. All of you have seen the volume game. You have seen how volumes have proclaimed, but not many of you know the past. Like Dr. Chitna was talking to me what happened 20 years back. Let me sort of rewind the clock and take you around to what was there in the year 2000. But before I take, I know there are a lot of youngster out here, and people wanted me to explain what is a knee replacement, what is a hip replacement. At the end of it, we'll give you access to all YouTube channels where if you subscribe, you will see all live surgical videos of mine for the latest technologies in the knee and hip. Here, I'm going to show you the animation graphics. What is a total knee replacement? So knee replacement doesn't mean that you take out a chunk of bone and put up a new joint in top of it. This is how a pristine natural joint is like. The white portion is the cartilage. In arthritis, the cartilage would wear off. In a varus deformity, you have bow legs and collapse of medial compartment. In rheumatoid, you have knock knees and collapse of outer compartment. This damaged cartilage, 8 to 10 millimeters shaved off, and a metal capping comes on top of it. This is the distal femur. Talking of the proximal tibia, again 8 to 10 millimeters of sliver is taken off. Metal and polyethylene inserts come in place. Now this femur and the tibia glide on each other, and this is what is a total knee replacement. Actually should have been resurfacing, called as a replacement. Hip joint is a ball and socket joint. The same way, we don't take out the entire hip. Now you move on like this. This is how a person moves on. The ball moves within the socket, smooth articulation with the cartilage. The cartilage gets worn off. There's a huge amount of friction and rubbing of cartilage on each other. Now, in a hip replacement, the leg will get shortened. The movement will diminish. At that stage, the damaged portion of the head and neck is sliced off. Similarly, on the acetabular side, the damaged cartilage in the acetabulum is grated off with reamers and graters, and a new cup, whether cemented or uncemented, is implanted in space. A metal ball with a femoral stem would come into the proximal femur. On top of it, you will get a femoral head. And now this head moves in arterial socket, and that's what is called as a hip replacement. Now, what I'm going to show you is year 2001. All those who are from Jammu know Delhi Excelsior. Now, in the year 2001, when I did 10 replacements in 5 days, it was something like you have created a milestone across which the world has never seen. So Dr. Manoj creates history, 10 replacements in 5 days. This is what I do now before my tea break. So now this is where adaptation, this is where society has gone for, this is where you all have done fantastic and fabulous jobs in doing the rehabilitation of these patients and making them improvise to a better quality of life. 2002, we were launching rotating platform knees, and that was a time where we were starting on doing both the knees in a single sitting called as a single stage bilateral knee replacement. So joints cannot be replaced here, rare surgeries and all these things were expanding. The awareness was improving. So many times you keep listening about the partial knees being launched. It was not launched now. I did the first partial knee 17 years back, way back in Fortis Amritsar. So when only your inner half of the joint is damaged, we recap that damaged area with metal and plastic parts, retaining all other ligaments, all other bone structures. That means the pristine anatomy is preserved. This is called as a partial knee replacement. So this was a launch 16 years back when this is my picture in 2004. So this is where we were talking of minimally invasive surgeries and we were trying to retain on as much bone and soft tissues as possible. So the surgeries were going from traditional to minimally invasive. So 2005, we launched in the high flexion knees. Now, a lot of physiotherapists keep asking this question. I'll take a minute here. What is high flexion? High flexion means anytime you achieve a bending of the knee more than 120 degrees, which allows you all those high-end recreations like religious activities, like playing golf, like kneeling down, like squatting. So we as North Indians, as Punjabis, there was a high passion for bending movements. At that stage, we launched in the rotating platform knees in 2005. How it fattens up, I will just share up with you. This is how your natural knee moves and bends. As knee arthroplasty surgeons, we wanted to recreate the same anatomy. That means the way the patella moves into the femoral sulcus, the tibia moves onto the femur, you want to recreate the same anatomy. So as you saw in the first animation, there's a special implant systems that allow you bending over 120 degrees, and this is called as a high flexion system. Many a times when we speak of high bending, it is purely not just the implant. So it is basically what is a preoperative range of motion. It is what kind of rehab you do, what is the kind of muscle laxity you have, and what is the nice rehabilitation you do through. So these are my pictures of passionate golfers way back in 2005. This is where they started doing all those activities. There is still the activity that we allow with the newer systems, but not for each and every patient. So please understand, squatting, sitting cross-legged, kneeling is not a marketing tool. You have to be very, very selective where to inform what is the kind of laxity the patient has, what is the kind of bone stock they have. And in those select group of patients, you allow them to do these kind of squatting and sitting cross-legged. This gentleman is now probably 16 years post-surgery. He's a passionate golfer of Chandigarh. And now I've built his son also for the same surgery. So at the same time, we were living in an old world where the world would guide them. Jitna samay nikalta nikal lo. The reason was that ultimately the common myth was that a knee surgery done would last say 8 to 10 years or 12 years, and after that nothing is possible. So the parameter why the patient would live crippled till 65 or so, because people have told us to delay as much as possible. The fear was what next? So 2005, we brought in a principle that redo joint replacement called a revision joint replacement is very much possible with good results. So that was the area where we were trying to build up confidence that accept surgeries when your quality of life gets crippled. Don't look at the age mark. God fearing, if you have to live more than the life of an implant, just like any tire is relined, the same way, if your joint wear out, you can do a revision joint replacement. From here on, the era of technology came in. 2006, we launched the computer navigation surgery. It was in Fortis at that stage. We were talking, okay, we do your surgery. Now let's move on to higher accuracy frontier. Let's do a 3D templating of these surgery. Let's be more minimally invasive. Let's have a technology to aid us through. That means we're talking of surgeries of a correction of a millimeter and a degree. So this is how, while doing the surgery, you had those kind of graphics in which you had these kind of screens coming on where you could check on your alignment, you could check on that your knee is very well placed, the sizing is optimal, and gives you 3D on-screen templating with more confident decision making. At the same time, acceptance of surgery was changing. Like this gentleman for which I was covered by Star News at that stage, he was a patient of ankylosing spondylitis at the age of 28. He was a bank manager. He got ankylosing and was fused to bed. He was on bed for more than 22 years. 22 years later, there was no hip joint, there was no spine, it was all single mass. We operated on his surgery. He was brought on feet, and fabulous job done by my rehabilitation teams at that stage, because somebody was not stood for 20 years plus, muscles going total wasting. And that's where is the role of beautiful physiotherapists who aid us for this surgical endpoint. And the patient was on his feet after 22 years. So beyond this, when we went on, came the next step of acceptance. Now, this lady that I'm going to show you was a very special case of my career. She was the first euthanasia petitioner from India. She was a young girl, 32 years old girl, unmarried from Bits, Pilani, belonging to Himachal. She had rheumatoid arthritis, got her both knees, hips, shoulders collapsed, and she was so immobile. She demanded mercy killing from the President of India. She demanded euthanasia. I was contacted by the government of Himachal Pradesh. I did both her knees, both her hips, both her shoulders. She was mobile, moving, and got a lot of applause from the President Pratibha Patil at that stage. And I got a letter of appreciation from the President of India This is the letter from the President of India for me, Government of Himachal Pradesh, and Fortis Mohali for handling a surgery. This is where the impossible was turning out to be possible. This is where the acceptance of surgeries were improving. What people thought as impossible was turning out to a possibility. And equally at the same time, people at a very young age now started pouring in for their surgeries. That was a stage of awareness where every year we were growing by 200% onto the volumes. Now we went on improving every year onto the technology platform. 2011 came a phase we are talking of, let's talk of implants, where we preserve the posterior cruciate ligament, where we are soft tissue preserving, bone preserving, ligament preserving. So cruciate retaining high flexion knees was launched in 2011. I launched the first CR150 at that stage. So this was the fourth generation knee implant which allowed you bone preservation with a high bending between 120 to 150 degrees and a lot bone and soft tissue preserving. Now moving on to it, we devised on the formula why customize the same implant for everybody. See, every human being is different. They have different types and shapes of bone. Why to put up customized models? So that was a stage where we thought about personalized knee solutions. So we launched the first CT-based personalized knee solution for India at that stage. So in this, what was done was that 3D templating was done, CTs and MRIs were done. They were transported to US on designing portals. Based on that, these kind of 3D models were created and a surgical plan was devised. So these kind of instrumentation models came back, which we knew what size we were going to do. We knew what kind of cutting we were going to do. And that was the game changer. That was the stage where customized joint placements were coming in. Since the entire homework was done at the back of the table, and we had launched a new technology, so our surgical times dropped to 15 minutes for this. Now, when we were improvising onto the, you can say, onto the implant platforms, onto the surgical technique platform, onto the navigation-based surgeries, onto personalized knee solutions, was the time to go to the next step. So 2013, I moved as a chairman on Max Elite Institutes of Orthopedics and Joint Replacement. We formed a huge team and we were ready to take on to a higher numbers and a process with a specialized teams for arthroplasty and joint replacement, specialized OT staff, specialized surgeons, specialized OR and nursing staff, which handles only one thing at the joint replacement. 2014, with the blessings of the former Chief Minister of Punjab, Prakash Singh Badal ji, I launched the first Asia's digital orthopedic operating suite. That means everything at the touch of a finger. Now, this was a stage where we were going on and we were saying, okay, we will make your surgeries accurate to a fraction of a millimeter and fraction of a degree. At any stage, we are live across to the world. Any stage, we can intercept anything that you want to. On a screen, you can, while doing a surgery, you can access any CT, MRI, all other information. So this was the time we were going digital. Now, from here on, we launched the first Attune, which was the biggest ever research from Johnson & Johnson. This implant gave you 5,000 surgery options on table. And this is my team listening right now. Also, this was the first Attune done in India in 2014. Multiple sizing options, long lasting implants, bone preserving, soft tissue preservation. At the same time, talking of the hip replacement, people were coming at a very young age. People with ankylosing spondylitis, people with avascular necrosis of hip. So all those people coming in their late 20s, 30s, 35, 40, asking, can I have a hip that lasts longer? Can I have a hip that lasts a lifetime? That was the time we were talking of newer articulations. So these are the newer articulations that you all must know. One you see at the bottom is metal on highly cross-linked polyethylene. Then you have a ceramic on highly cross-linked polyethylene, oxenium on highly cross-linked polyethylene, and on the top right, the pink and pink is ceramic on ceramic. Ceramics are pink in color. Ceramics have the least amount of wear. So the top line that you see through is the one that I use for all younger populations, least amount of a wear and a very high longevity for multiple decades. Same way for the knees, we launched the very last technology, that means oxenium moving on highly cross-linked polyethylene. This is a system where the testing was done for 30 years wear performance in vitro. We launched it for India, and luckily for a couple of years, we have been the biggest consumers in the global for this technology, and we have innovated a lot of platforms in this. The black colored structure that you see is oxenium, which is called as oxidized zirconium. This is like a ceramic. So the movement on a ceramic on a cross-linked polyethylene is very, very low, and you can expect a long life. So moving on from here, it was a new technology knees, graphics surgery, customized knee solution, tailor-made joints, and newer technology platforms. So the launch of Verilast system, it has a knee that has a capacity to last a lifetime for every 60-year-old person. And from here on came the next step. That is gender-specific oxenium implants. We launched it for India in 2015. So now at the same time, we were very, very sure, like you say, I'm 32 waist. 32 waist, a male and a female is very different. You don't wear the same denims across. But when it went on to this industry, we were using the same implants for the male and the female. Now, let me summarize. All females have a sort of a trapezoidal shape on the top. So if you see the implant on the left, which is the normal implant, you put it on another person, which is the narrow-headed female, you will always listen a complaint from a patient. So the question is, since the implant is proud, it would be jutting out of the distal femur, and the patient would always complain of something rubbing and something tight. This is because not surgery was wrong, but the implant was not optimal. So today you have these kind of narrow implants, especially meant for female population. So with these implants came the next step, knees crafted for women and gender-specific knee implants. Equally at that stage came the story when a young 16, 17-year-old rheumatoid used to come to us who were very, very crippled. A single stage, long-lasting implant were informed in and transplanted, and the quality of life was changing. At the same time, girls coming at 23, 24 with this kind of tumors called Usher's sarcoma, where somebody would do an amputation mid-thigh level. No girl in her 20s would love to have that. So we went in for tumor prosthesis. The whole tumor was taken out. A specialized knee implant was put in space. So whatever life they have with chemotherapy, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, they live with a functional, stable limb. So this is where real complex cases were coming in, people who are excessively delayed or multiple decades. Surgeries, I showed it in European Arthroplasty Congress, and nobody could believe you have patients like this in India. This is what. Here on, we moved on to the other joints apart from the knees and the hips, talking of elbow, which is a hip joint. In all rheumatoid elbows, which are crippled or four-part fractures or swinging windswept elbows, these kind of elbow joints were implanted in space. Bend your elbow in 48 hours and you give a rejuvenated life. It is wonderful surgery for rheumatoid patients. Now, moving on from this to shoulder replacements, the indications were any osteoarthritis, any rheumatoid arthritis, four-part fracture, avascular necrosis. This is the normal shoulder replacement, sort of a ball and socket that you move through. Now, going further from this, we launched the reverse shoulder replacement. So all of you must know this. You get a lot of stiff shoulders, frozen shoulders. Now, if these people have a ruptured supraspinatus tendon or a gone rotator cuff, you can't give them the movement back in space, and a normal shoulder should not be done there. There, you do a special technology called as a reverse shoulder, in which the ball comes onto the scapula and cup goes onto the humerus. Now, because the center of rotation is distalized and medialized, on the biomechanical platforms, the delta takes over the function and allows you to have active abduction without even the rotator cuffs available in the patient. Similarly, for rheumatoid or other complex parameters, these finger joint replacements, PIP joint and MCP joint replacements were also brought in the picture. It doesn't stop here. That's where people started coming in for damaged ankle joints. That's where we launched ankle joint replacements also. This is a specialized joint. This was a Swamiji, not a very common presentation. Now, any surgery that you move through only works on two things. A, you have to give a result, which is very, very important because you can't fool the people for decades. B, you have to create an awareness. The whole teams, elite teams, have been along creating awareness in all different frontiers on what is the quality of life you can enjoy after joint replacement. This is when I was in Fortis, Hansraj Hansi, attending with us, where we launched books on World Arthritis Day on knee replacement, rehabilitation, and what all tips for knee prevention. This is my dear Milkha Singh ji on a walkathon at the Sukhna Lake. These all patients you see are the ones who have already got their knees and hips replaced. This is the patient that you see dancing to glory and doing bhangra are the patients who had already got their knees and hips replaced. This is to show the quality of life, what Punjabis can bring across, and what is the quality of life you can enjoy after surgery. Similarly, botathon on Sukna Lake, the boating done by and paddling done by all patients who initially have gone their hips and knees replaced. This is pavilion riding on Harley Davidson bikes with the governor of UT and Punjab. And the lady you see on the left on red is my patient, Mrs. Milkha Singh, who also went through the same surgery. This is Harley Davidson bikes driven by patients who had gone through surgery. And all the ladies you see through dancing, and in the center is my own mother who also got the bilateral knee replacement done. So this is where technology was taking a boom. So all of you must understand that knee surgeries were never static. The implants changed, the technologies changed, the biomaterials changed. Now moved on to computer-based surgeries, to navigation platforms. That's where then we moved on to stitchless joint replacement. That means use a special kind of barbed sutures given up so that there is no mark on the skin, and younger patients can have these kind of stitchless joint replacement surgeries in the knees and the hips. Now, I don't know how many of you are aware, when it went on to the numbers, that while in Fortis, I did my first global world record of the highest volume in a month, which was 331. When I did that, I really thought that, what next? I don't have a milestone left in, but I never know God was kind and the team supporting me a big way. In 2015, we made two next records of the highest volume in a week, 114 joints in a week, and the fastest 1,000 in the world, 102 days. Now, going where is public was supportive, people were getting results, the confidence in surgeries were improving. The physiotherapists of North India was doing a fabulous job in creating an awareness. And in the next few months, we broke all our records across, and the highest in a month went on from 331 to 438, which subsequently went on to 465 also. Fastest 1,000 dropped from 102 days to 84 days, and highest in a week went 140. Now going this, we had another record going on, accreditation by Link Up Records for the highest volume done by anybody in the global. And in a year, we did 3,017 successful joint replacements. This is single hospital, single surgeon series. So along with it, for any surgeon, the next step is building up new platforms for technology and training newer surgeons. So we launched the Arthroplasty Congress in 2015, where we took up all launches for the industry happening across in India. So that was the time we were training people from North India and the country and international on technologies. We brought all new platforms to India, launched of gold replacement. This is what we do a lot these days, titanium niobium nitrate coating with vitamin E poly. This is one of the wonderful reductions in wear and the long life systems, apart from the Xenium knees that we do through. This was the launch of Journey to BCS, first time in India. These are all launches that were launched for the first time in India in 2016. The launch of robotic surgery 4 or 5 years back, where we launched a robotic arm as well as handheld navigation systems. These are the two systems we launched at that stage. The one on the right you see is a Mako robotic arm, and the left side is a handheld navigation system. 2016, we did the first robotic surgeries in India. So this was the launch of robotics at that stage, live surgeries in JW Marriott in Chandigarh. And from here on, I move to the next step, is designing implants specific for our Asian population. So now we realize that people in Asia are very, very different from the rest of the world, the Caucasian population. We have different sizes, different frameworks, different widths. So with a couple of surgeons internationally, I launched this Anthem implant for the global. Without this is the designing team for Anthem, and this is where I am from India. So this was the first time we had implants specifically designed for the Asian population. This was launched by Smith & Nephew. So these were the launches going on in 2017 onto the handheld navigation systems, launch of revision knee systems. And 2018 as a journey, I became chairman executive director for IV hospitals in Punjab. We launched a specialized OTs, specialized OR, special operating systems, space suits, helmets, and specialized techniques for these surgeries. And that was the same time where I launched patented FIFO technology. That means fast in, fast out technique. This was a technique in which we changed the rules to the game. That means the surgery was done by platforms which are very short anesthesia, no urinary catheters, no blood drains. You use cocktails for pain control around the soft tissues. You do all surgeries which are MI minimally invasive and a very fast surgical technique. It's a building an SOP. So all these patients were done minimally invasive through very small cuts, small incision, no blood loss, almost minimal amount of pain, and all of them with FIFO technology walk within 3 hours after surgery. So the protocol that we follow to at Elite Orthopedics is your surgery done in 15 to 30 minutes, depending the single knee or both knees. You are walking in 3 hours. The next morning you go to the toilet seat, and next afternoon you're outside the room walking in the corridors. So we are trying to drop this surgery onto fitter patients to bring knee replacement to a daycare portfolio. That means you come in the morning, get your surgery done, and if we can reach to a parameter gradually in the next couple of years, we can send the patients back home in the evening after getting a knee or hip surgery done. Similarly, on the hip portfolio, a lot of things changed. What you saw was implants initially. With the FIFO technology, the same muscle sparing surgery, we bought this revolutionary new techniques called as a direct anterior push to the hip. That means you approach the hip for the front. It is totally intermuscular, internervous. That means you don't cut any nerve, you don't cut any muscle. You move from the front of the hip, implant these special systems, and because you don't cut any muscle or your nerve, your patients are walking in next couple of hours and can be back home in a day or so. So using this new innovative technologies, using this ceramic and long-lasting hips, for younger patients, you can have your surgeries last a decades and least morbid and very, very active. Now here on, 1 year back, we changed next innovation across in knee surgeries, brought in the concept called as natural knee resurfacing. We don't replace, we resurface the structures. We all know that in knee you have a medial compartment, you have a lateral compartment, you have a patellofemoral compartment. So it is something called as a multi-compartmental resurfacing. We will retain the anterior cruciate ligaments, we retain all ligaments, we'll retain the central bone, damaged only the damaged parts. That means you walk in a room and whatever wall is damaged, you only plaster that area, leave everything else as such. So this is what is a game changer for all younger population these days. The surgeries have become far less morbid, very, very accurate, minimal disruption of bone and soft tissues, and very active for young debilitating patients. It's bone preserving, soft tissue retention, compartmental resurfacing. So this is where the technology is moving and getting on. So revolutionary new hip knee replacement surgeries are today, which are minimally invasive and do better restoration, better quality of implants, better techniques. So you have to develop standards of protocols. And I have always been emphasizing on the role of rehabilitation despite doing all these surgeries. Couple of you would have got my last editorial on, do I need physical therapy after joint replacement? Because all throughout people have been saying, if I do a surgery, you don't require rehabilitation. I think it is absolutely wrong. Surgeons do their role, physiotherapists do their role, and both things have to be respected. Despite whatever techniques I've told you, which is the globally latest and most advanced and patented with us onto the platform, still we say rehabilitation is required, and a person who is a good rehab guy would bring the best results out of your recovery. So journey is still on. Why I showed this picture was not to give a megalomaniac statement, was to show all those who think it is the same surgery going on from last 20 years. I'm sorry to say no. You have to dismantle your things. You have to change the parameters to the game. You have to change the rules to the game to make sure where you are moving on. So as you understand, you must have a love and a passion for these things. Once you have a passion, you have to understand it's not purely surgery you do. It is the kind of structure you build through as a leader. It is the kind of innovations, teaching, technology, surgeon training, rehabilitation, physio trainings. It is the kind of implant launches, technology. Everything is required in a combination. Along with that, the public has to be educated. Now,